Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and at the time of making this video, we're right around the corner from the start of week 4 of the Lightning Strikes Tides of War chapter, which means there's going to be a new weapon to unlock, the M1922 MG. Yep, it's an MMG this week, which is certainly better than last week's Red Hat. And so I'm dropping this video a little bit ahead of time so you can get a head start on seeing what you need to do and begin planning the best path for you to take, as well as picking up a few tips from me on how to blast through it all fast and get your reward. If you want to see how long is left for you until the new challenges are live, you can do so from the Tides of War tile in-game, or perhaps the challenges are already live by the time you're watching this. As ever, I'll produce these guides for as long as you guys watch them, and all the encouragement to continue with them last week was awesome, so thank you for that. So simple challenges or not, let's get through them. And it's a Frontlines focus week, so you know I'm excited for that. As ever, we have a challenge tree to work through. You don't have to complete every challenge, just pick the path that's going to be best for you. We'll start with the first challenge that everyone does have to complete, Frontlines. Play a round of Frontlines. So you can either jump into Frontlines from the quick search, or you can use the advanced search to pick the server that you want based on ping, available slots, or whatever else. But be aware that BF5 still doesn't have Frontlines listed in the advanced search when I'm producing this video. So you instead have to search for 32 player servers and then select a Frontlines game from there. Once you're in there, if you don't normally play Frontlines, treat this game as a learning experience for the rest of the challenges. The basic principle is to capture the sole central objective, which then moves back towards the enemy spawn if you do so. Continue this until you push them all the way back, at which point you have to detonate the enemy bombs to win. And of course, the enemy team are trying to do the same thing to you in the other direction. If the game goes to the time limit, the winning team is the one that performed the best. So for example, if one team detonates an enemy bomb and the other doesn't, then they win. Anyway, play one round of Frontlines for this challenge, nice and easy. Then we come to two branching paths. The top one features a more ambitious individual focus challenge and self-loading rifle kills, and the bottom one features a more passive challenge and MMG kills. We'll cover the top path first. Ordnance Expert. Arm or defuse a bomb in Frontlines. So as I highlighted for the previous challenge, the bombs come into play once you or the enemy team has captured all of the objectives to push the other team back to their home spawn. From here, there are 2 or 3 bombs based on which map you're playing, so you need to step up and take charge here. If you're attacking, you need to plant. If you're defending, you need to defuse. From an attacking perspective, you can try 3 techniques. Number 1 is rush the objective straight away and try to get the plant down before the enemy have possibly prepared for it. Number 2 is to clear the area carefully and pick a quiet moment. Or number 3 is to try to ninja plant at some point and take the enemy by surprise. Whatever you decide, try to use the actual bomb site as cover from the enemy and don't be an easy target if you're potentially in view. Manage this and you're all good. Now if you're defending, you can try technique 2 or 3, as obviously you can't rush to defuse if the bomb hasn't even been planted yet. In addition, working with your squad can help, especially if you're communicating with friends, and remember that smoke is a great tool for providing you cover to work on the bomb site. Next up on the top path, we have Lock and Load. Kill 15 enemies with a self-loading rifle. Now I'll just point out here that last week I had people telling me that it seemed as if all the challenges had to be completed in Breakthrough, even though the challenges didn't always indicate so from their description. So as a pointer, if any of the challenges this week don't mention Frontlines, but then don't seem to complete when you aren't playing Frontlines, then please just play Frontlines for all of the challenges just to be sure. Test it out beforehand, see if it works in the other modes, but then obviously go to Frontlines if you need to. I know it's ridiculous that there's all this uncertainty, but DICE can't seem to write adequate instructions anymore. Anyway, the self-loading rifles can be found in the Recon class. They aren't particularly popular, mainly because they're generally viewed as just being less forgiving semi-auto rifles from the Assault class. What you're seeing me use in the footage is an unupgraded Model 8, as I've kinda neglected the Recon class to be honest. And yes, it did therefore feel super clunky, but it does show that it's still possible to do well with them. So get out there, pick your shots carefully, and you'll have 15 kills in no time. So now we'll cover the alternate bottom path. It kicks off with Keep Moving, capture 8 objectives in Frontlines. This is a great challenge as it's the entire focus of the Frontlines mode. The objective areas are nice and big, and essentially, if you're trying to win the game, you'll pick up objective caps passively as you play anyway. Just make sure you're in the objective areas as you're playing. They are the highlighted sections on the minimap, and focusing on this will really help your team. Obviously squad play, especially with friends, will help again. Next we come to Full Auto. Kill 15 15 enemies with MMGs. Now I'm not an MMG user at all, but I threw one on for this footage and was actually pretty impressed. If you don't know, you can't properly aim down sight with an MMG unless you bipod it, but you don't have to just sit and camp out like seemingly 90% of MMG users do. You can play aggressive if you so wish. Basically, just spray at close quarters, as the rate of fire they provide can be pretty lethal even if you only hit a few shots. And then at longer ranges, you can bipod up. Anything in between, you need to already be prepared for. So basically, just don't get caught running around at mid-range. Doing well with them requires map and tactical knowledge, or you could just hill hump with it as almost everyone else does. But please, at least try my tips first, as it's far more interesting and useful. With one of those paths completed, we come to gain ground, win a round of Frontlines. And there's not much I can really say here, is there? Eventually, you'll get this done regardless. Just take what I've said from some of the other challenges. Play the objective, move with your squad, play with friends if possible, etc, etc. I can also add though, make sure you're aware of what the current objective is and where the next one is going to be. Too many players either overextend and end up way beyond the objective, which can allow the enemy team to really quickly push forwards if too many of your team have done this. Or some people aren't anywhere near aggressive enough and sit too far back from the current objective, which basically just allows the enemy team to push you back and close you in. So be aware, be aggressive when necessary, and keep moving with the objective. Then we have a challenge that doesn't actually need to be completed at all, but it will grant you bonus chapter XP. Dashing Death. Kill 8 enemies while you're moving. This appears to just mean don't be prone or stationary whilst firing, which is great if you're someone like me who strafes a lot. Strafing is moving from side to side while you're having a gunfight in order to be a harder target to hit. This challenge shouldn't be too hard for most of you. Just be mobile, pick a weapon that you're comfortable with whilst being mobile, and consider using specializations that aid in your success, such as better hip fire for run and gunning with an SMG, or better movement speed while in ADS if you're using a semi-auto rifle, etc. Onwards, and we have 2 paths again, the top one being frontal assault. Capture 3 objectives in a round of Frontlines. This could be super simple or a lot more difficult based on how long the game goes on for. Some Frontlines games take ages, and thus there will be plenty of opportunities to get this done. But the ones that end really quickly, well, you'll need to act fast. Be very aggressive and just hope your team is going to be on the same page. In all honesty, this one could come down to the lobby you just happen to be in, so don't stress about it too much. Just play objectively and it'll happen at some point, and use the tips I suggested for the earlier objective capture challenge. Or we have the bottom path, spray and pray. Kill 15 enemies with an SMG. This one might actually be the better option, as you can actively start working on it as soon as you like. Slap on your SMG of choice and just start shooting some bad guys. 15 kills isn't a lot, so this one really is quick and easy. And then we come to the final challenge, do your part. Earn 25,000 score in Frontlines. No pressure here, no time limits or specific requirements. Just play. Use all of the tips I provided for the other challenges. Play the objective, make sure the objectives are being marked by the squad leader, pick up as many kills as you can, and you'll get this completed without issue. And having made your way through that, you've now unlocked the M1922 MG. Congratulations, you'll be able to claim it from the armory. And so I hope this guide helps you to get hold of the new MMG reward quickly. I'll likely have another guide out for you next week. If you want to see that and you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. Here's the Board of Awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and I love them all deeply and often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm Get Good Guy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.